Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast by Closers.io where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Mishal Saeed, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're thrilled to have Charley Lapomardo, the founder of Sparkleworks, joining us. Charley brings a unique blend of creativity and strategy with a BBA in marketing, theater, and media literacy from the University of Massachusetts, Amherst, and 5 years as a community culture manager and user researcher at Wayfair, where they co-created impactful community initiatives like GXD Connect. Charley founded Sparkleworks in San Diego, a company dedicated to co-creating transformative workshops and team building events that help corporate teams solve business challenges while boosting morale and motivation. Known affectionately as Sparkle, Charley's work is all about fostering inclusive, engaging spaces. We'll explore their founding story, how Sparkleworks is reshaping corporate culture, and their vision for scaling this experience-driven business. So let's dive in. Charley, welcome to Founders Future.
Hi, Michelle. I'm so excited to be with you.
We're excited to dive into your journey and learn a little bit more. So just to kind of kick things off for our listeners, take us back to the beginning. What specific problem within the corporate culture or team building landscape, perhaps around employee engagement or problem solving, inspired you to start Sparkleworks?
I was a part of a corporate team that was split apart by COVID. We had this really cool, like nuclear work family, and we were all really close. And then during COVID, more and more people got added to the team, and we didn't know each other as well. We couldn't go out after work and have drinks. We couldn't have whiteboarding sessions together. And so we had these precious few moments together in person. And we were talking about GXD Connect, which was our sort of internal conference. And originally we were talking about standard conference programming. And I said, wait, this doesn't make any sense because we're all tired. We're all in meetings all the time. If we use this tiny amount of time to do more work, we're not going to get the benefit of this time together, which is to connect with each other. So instead we made a non-conference and we brought in one speaker, Luce Bratcher, who is amazing. And other than that, we featured the people in our group and because they were really our audience. So the problem that I personally experienced that led me to create Sparkleworks is that being apart makes us feel disconnected. And there are many ways for us to connect. And the best way, in my experience, is sharing joyful memories and solving problems together, being on the same team.
I love that. I love that. Your background is so deeply rooted, evidently, in really building community and culture within organizations. And I can tell that passion just like resonate right now just through that introduction. So that is awesome. Love that. Let's get into the nuts and bolts for our listeners and even some potential clients and like just people who want to work with you. How does Sparkleworks generate revenue today? Like, what is the core offer? Workshops, custom team events? The audience wants to know, how do you structure this if they're interested in working with you?
I have a core offering, which is Spark Shop. I explored a bunch of different combinations of experiences because I'm an experience designer. I'm a space designer. Like, I love creating gathering spaces. But in the end, what was most valuable and what really resonated with people was this idea of the Spark Shop. And that's based on design thinking, going from a nebulous, I feel complicated feelings to, oh my gosh, this is what's actually going on, to here's what I'm going to do about it. So the way that I don't make money is through venture capital. And that was actually a pivotal moment for me because I thought I had been going back and forth in my head, like, am I a serious business person if I'm not like gathering funding, if I'm not going out there and pitching investors? But for me, that goal, the goal of venture capital is to grow super fast. And that's why you need all the money underneath it. But that's not what I'm doing. I'm doing a slow burn community movement. So I don't need funding. I need patronage. I need people who say, yes, I need what you have. Let's bring you in. And so then I do that just on a workshop by workshop basis. That's how I get paid. Right now I do mostly conferences, but really I want to be inside companies, helping them do those on-site events, where sort of the birthplace of Sparkleworks was.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, no, it's clear though that you've figured out really what the niche is and like really what that fulfillment looks like in terms of getting really filling in those gaps. And I'm sure like there are companies out there, so many of them, and some of them are probably listening in that are actually thinking, yeah, we need this right now, especially startups, right? And like even some of the corporations stuck in their ways. So I think that's really cool. And let's dive into some of this growth that you've achieved so far. How are you currently acquiring some of your clients and customers right now? What channels have worked like the best? Is it like LinkedIn, your network at Wayfair, referrals? Like what's been like the most effective for landing clients for like workshop and event services?
Building relationships, period. Not in a like transactional networking way. What can you give me? But oh my gosh, I'm so excited to meet you. Oh, you like my boots. Thank you so much. I love the talk that you gave. And this was what that made me think of. And then having a conversation. And when we vibe, we find a way to work together because we can find the overlap in our needs. And my goal is not to reach out to as many people as possible and sell them something that they don't need. My goal is to find the people who need what I'm offering, people who need connection and joy and sparkle, and give that to them as best I know how. And that moment of like spark, that the spark of us first meeting is what tells me that we're set up for the overall like spark shop and partnership to be successful. So meeting people, connecting, that is where I meet clients.
I love that. Yeah, you're offering already sparkle and gems to anyone that you meet. And I can see that. And it's authentic. And I'm sure you've pretty much set up like a runway of success just through that approach. And it's working. And we're super proud of that. From what it sounds like, you've figured out the best way to get in front of the clients, really like, how do I create these partnerships? I'd love to learn more about, okay, after that, like your approach to like sales, like what strategies have been like the most effective in converting maybe some of the leads or like some of the people you meet into like actual long-term relationships and clients? Are you doing this on your own mainly? I know you're pretty much wearing a lot of hats, or do you have a team right now that's handling some of those conversations as well? What does that look like?
It's just me because ultimately I'm selling sparkle and I am sparkle and I can help other people sparkle, but they're working with me. So, yes, it's me. And to be transparent, this is where I'm struggling the most right now. I've worked so much on the vision and the product and building relationships with really smart people who have helped me work through that stuff. Sales is my biggest challenge right now. And it's because of this woman baggage of, oh, I don't want to impose, or I feel uncomfortable asking for money, or I'm like undervaluing what I'm doing and I'm working through imposter syndrome. And so
Yeah.
all of that holds me back from giving what giving someone what I know they actually need. Like I get in my own way a lot of times with sales. So that's my biggest challenge right now. So I'm glad you asked, and I will get back to you when I know.
No, but that's it resonates with the listeners also tuning in because I think especially within this space, there's so many people out there, so much happening. And usually, how do you start to really get out of your own way and think, oh, yeah, no, I need to maybe invest in myself. Maybe I need to like really take some courses or maybe classes on like how I can start to develop that skill set. But I love the fact that you already are like such a genuine person that like that resonates. And I'm sure like you'll figure that out as well at some point. And we can even talk about that a little bit later. I love that. Like with everything you've accomplished so far and the success you've seen, I'd love to hear more about your vision for the future as you look ahead. What's top of mind for growing Sparkleworks over like the next 6 to 12 months?
Like I said, slow burn community movement. It's every group of people that I work with have a unique energy, and I learn so much from that workshop. So for me, the biggest thing is just like plugging ahead.
Mm.
Ah, I love that. That's so cool. I just had confetti like pop out behind me. That's
Oh, I
awesome.
love it. That's so cool.
Yeah, yes, it is exciting. Yeah, and I am expanding to college students as well because I did, like you said, like investing in myself. I took a design, innovation, and entrepreneurship class at UCSD, and I met a lot of students from out of the states, and they were talking to me about how lonely they were, and that was what made it click for me that it's not about strategy. It's not about space making. All of that serves the end goal of connecting people.
Right.
And we're in a loneliness epidemic, which is a natural consequence of being quarantined and isolated for years. Like,
Mhm.
we experienced a mass trauma. And
Yeah.
so it's a natural consequence that we have a loneliness epidemic. And working with the students was what made that click for me. So I've been, because corporate was my world, I've been focused on those clients. But I
Mhm.
think the biggest, the most exciting roadmap evolution is working with younger people and
Mhm.
learning from them.
No, I love that. It from what it sounds like, you've pretty much identified like, hey, these are the things I want to work on and these are the places I want to go. And I love that. I'm so happy for you and just like everything you're doing. I'd love to learn more as well because I know you mentioned sales was like one of those things that you're like struggling with, but even outside of that, I'm sure like there are a lot of other things you're looking to tackle in the business. If there was like some other bottlenecks that like stood out, what would it be? Is it also like maybe attracting like the right types of partnerships and leads? Like maybe even
Mm.
scaling the fulfillment, like, on the event side. What are you, like, also most focused on solving to keep up the momentum?
Yeah, it's interesting that you say scaling with other facilitators because
Yeah.
that's where I start. I'm a process-minded person. I'm a systems person. In research, when I was doing user research, employee research, it was all about like how can we optimize these systems? And so I love, my brain goes there immediately. So when I was establishing the vision for Sparkleworks, I was like, okay, I if my mission is to help humanity realize its potential by creating moments and spaces of sparkle, how can I do that on the biggest scale possible? So
Mm,
I in my head, I have an understanding of how I would scale for other facilitators. And as a facilitator myself, I have a sense of like how contractors like slot into that process. But that really held me back. Thinking
mm,
about scaling in the future made it so that I couldn't focus on now. I was making decisions based on what would be scalable later.
mm.
Wasn't helpful. So that is not what I'm working on. That's not top of mind. I think the, like you said, attracting the right clients, that's my game. Like, I'm not about chasing people, like in my personal life too. This has been like a huge shift because I have really strong energy, and the people who are for me are immediately attracted to me, and the
Mm.
people who are like, oh, that's such a helpful filter. So
Yeah.
yes, it's not going out and like scrounging for leads, but how can I make myself visible? How can I sparkle freely on and meet my audience where they are so that
Mm.
they are attracted to me, so that they want to work with me rather than me chasing
Mm.
them?
Yeah, yeah, no, just and the vibe check is so important. I was like thinking that I was like, yeah, no, the vibes have to be right. But you're so right about it. Like really just letting your brand, but like your identity really be the main way to gravitate the right fits into not your just your personal life, but your professional life as well. Manifesting that energy. And I'm doing the same for you right now. I hope that works.
Nice.
So
And it's a lot about modeling.
yeah.
I'm not like, I am MC Sparkle, but I don't have sole ownership over
Mhm.
that phenomenon.
Yeah.
Sparkling is something that everyone is capable of, and my gift is bringing that out in people.
No, I love that, and I can tell even, like, when you first meet someone who's, like, a good fit client maybe or just, they're interested, you probably share those insights with them, and they leave that conversation with something to reflect on and think about. Yeah, no, that's cool. Charlie gave me some, like, really good input, so
Yes, exactly. And I'm not pitching.
yeah.
I'm sharing. This is something that's been on my mind recently, and asking questions. I'm a
Yeah,
really curious person. So someone says something interesting, I'm like, "Oh my God, tell me more. I have to know." And
yeah.
that those I've noticed that the periods of my life are almost demarcated by
Mhm.
those conversations that I have over and over again with people
Yeah,
in that period of time. So
yeah.
I love meeting people who contribute to those, like the evolution of those larger ideas in my journey. And I hope that's mutual for them too.
I love that. No, and when you come in with that sort of mindset, you're more likely to really achieve that as well because it's all about being optimistic, positive thinking. And I can see right away, like, you go into those conversations and you think about it in your mind and you're like, no, I know I need to help this person. I need to serve this person. And they see through that. And I could see that's been a huge factor for your success. We're in the lightning round right now. Just a couple more questions before we do wrap up. Let's get a little bit hypothetical because I love this conversation and your passion for like really sparking connection, right? Pun intended. If you had like a genie in the room and you rubbed the lamp and now, poof, you have all these unlimited resources, like the fireworks go off. What would you implement immediately to accelerate the growth of Sparkleworks?
That's a really great question. I would bring more people on board. I would show them how to do what I do so that impact can be immediately spread. And I know that's in direct conflict with what I said about scaling. But what makes that challenging is the money. So if I had infinite money, the single best way to accomplish my mission of helping everyone sparkle is to bring as many people on board as possible.
Yeah, no, just finding someone who can follow the mission and just really be aligned with everything you've built here and carry through with those values. I'm sure though, just we have listeners and other founders and entrepreneurs like tuning in, they're probably going to want to reach out to you, find out more, and hopefully be a part of that mission. And hopefully we can also like help in any way. That's awesome.
Workshops. That's what I want to do. That is, if I have an ask, it's, hey, let's have a spark shop together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. One more question on this front. For the listeners and entrepreneurs and founders that are also like tuning in, they want to follow in your footsteps, but they're maybe a little bit hesitant and they're not really sure where to start. What's one tool or resource or maybe any advice you can give to some of our listeners on scaling an experience-driven business like yours, perhaps from like your time being in like the corporate world or like elsewhere? What would you say?
When you work in corporate and you're lower in the hierarchy, you need permission from the powers that be to make big moves. When you're on your own, no one is going to give you permission. You have the authority and the responsibility to give yourself permission. And the more people that you meet who are on that wavelength, the more community that you build in that sense, the more it's like you're just a fish in water. That's just what we do here. We don't wait for others as higher powers over us. We do what we know needs to be done. Listen to that inner voice. Even if it's a whisper, the more you listen, the louder it will get. Listen to the voice, give yourself permission to take action, and then do it. I call it grounded forward motion. If I'm just like in my head sticky noting, I can't bring those dreams in the clouds down to the ground. Grounded forward motion is how you pull those dreams into reality.
It's so well said. And it's sometimes overlooked. It was what we were talking about a little bit earlier, right? About like that imposter syndrome that even like you went through. Is this going to work? Or am I like, we get in our heads sometimes, especially like when we're doing something on our own. But I love that you said that because I know so many of us, especially some of the listeners tuning in, they're probably having those feelings right now. And they're wondering like, is the timing right now? But
yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, there you go.
If you believe that your success is inevitable, any inaction is delaying your success. So start somewhere.
Yeah, just do it. Very well said. We got to trademark that. So
I wonder if anybody's thought of that before.
No, that's pivotal. No, we have to trademark that. That is the name of the episode. Love that, Charley. That wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Thank you so much for sharing your remarkable journey with us today, just from years of shaping community culture at Wayfair to founding Sparkleworks, the workshops, and just everything else that's to come as well. You've set up a really great runway for yourself for years to come and really just transforming corporate teams with like your creativity, your connection, and most importantly, your sparkle. So to my listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also find some more resources and insights at closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through world-class sales systems and trained appointment setters. So until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you all on the next one.